Hi, everybody. Is this working? Tell me if you can see me and hear me. Type in the chat. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or see me yet. Excellent. Beautiful. So what we want to do today is we want to keep this going. We want to answer as many questions as we can. No partying today. We'll wait till Saturday to do that. You guys have any questions? Fire them out there. I'll see if I can keep up with the chat. Let's go with this one. BR. Do you adjust custom chainsaws the same as stock chainsaws, meaning adjusting the highs and lows? Absolutely. In my opinion, yeah. It's even more critical on a custom chainsaw. You're talking about a modified chainsaw, maybe, where the piston cylinder has been modified and the muffler and all that stuff. Yeah, that's what you definitely want to be checking that out. And you do it the same way. You got your digital tack. You do it the same way with a modified chainsaw. Absolutely. Hey, AJP, you want to come up here and help me answer some questions? Are you into it? I'll throw this out there. Just in case you do. All right. I got to concentrate on answering questions here today. Here's a good one. Paul Carlton. Leaf blower doesn't seem to have high and low adjuster, just a single adjuster screw, not an idler. Trying to remember what that is now. I have ran into some leaf blowers out there that are exactly what you're saying right there. Especially on the steel blowers, and even some weed eaters, some grass trimmers, strimmers, as some people call them. There's a one screw on there, and it's kind of a left-hand thread. It is actually not for idle on that one because there's a separate idle screw that physically holds your butterfly open a little bit. So if you have one screw on there, it's most likely kind of a combination, more on the low speed though. Mick Mowers is here. Hey, you want to come up, Mick? Help me answer some questions. Did you miss that? Here it is for you if you want to come up, bud. Hope you can see that. Come on in the basement, buddy. Man, my mouse is double clicking on me. This sucks. Let's get to some questions here. There's one. Yeah, the comments are out. Oh, we got 189 people in there already. That's why the comments are flying. Is that a question? Hey, Steve, your video really helpful. Sometimes my weed eater head doesn't stop spinning on idle. Any idea? Most likely it's something to do with your clutch springs, or maybe your clutch is rusty and it keeps on turning that before you're even revving it up. Most times, from my experience, you probably have either a broken clutch spring in that thing, or sometimes if you overheat a clutch really, really bad, it'll weaken the clutch springs so the clutch is engaging before it's at the RPM where it's supposed to. So I would have a look at your clutch, Grant. Hey, David Small Engine. Hi, how you doing, buddy? I have a feeling Mick missed that post, that link. G-Man, right there. Oh, wait. Let's do this one first. G-Man, hi, Steve. Do you ever build one of those two-stroke bicycle engine kits? They're a blast. I've never done one. I actually kind of would really like to do that. I've never have any experience with that at all, unfortunately. Joe Yo, I wonder if Pterodactyl watches these videos. I guarantee he does. I watch his videos too. Terrell, we're going to hook up on Saturday on Mix Mowers live stream. Check that out. We'll talk a little bit more about that when Mick comes up. Let's read this one. Hi, Steve. I have a 10 horsepower Tecumseh blower. Tecumseh blower. Won't run clean, breaks up a lot, did carb and new fuel and check timing with flywheel. Everything's good. Could a plug do that? Got to read that again. 10 horsepower Tecumseh blower. Okay, 10 horsepower. Breaks up a lot. Yeah, it could be your spark plug. In my experience, spark plugs really are very rarely the actual problem. Sometimes they are, and it's a cheap fix. Spark plugs where I live are $5. It certainly doesn't help to pop another one in there and try it at least. Here's a good one right here. Nick, he has a Pioneer saw that calls for a 16-to-1 mix, a line trimmer at 40-to-1 mix, and a still saw at 50-to-1 mix. Can I use one mix for all, or should use 3 different mixes? This is a real question. This is actually a really intelligent question. I'm glad you brought that up, Nick. Hey, there's Mick. There's Mick right there. Add to stream. I think you're allowed to come up, buddy. Add to stream. There you go. Hey, everybody. This is Mick's Mowers right here. It's got his own YouTube channel.
I didn't.
There you go. Microphone works good, buddy.
Have you sobered up?
Yeah, we're not partying today. Mick, I really want to concentrate on answering some questions because I got a little flack last time I did this with we weren't answering questions and stuff. So I want to concentrate on that. If you want to help, Mick.
Yeah, cool.
There's one on the bottom of the screen right there from Nick. I think that this is kind of I think a lot of mechanics will disagree with each other on this one. My personal opinion is that if you have an old Pioneer saw that calls for 16-to-1 mix, there's probably such an old chainsaw that the mix oil that you mixed in your gasoline at that time was pretty much 1030 motor oil.
Yeah.
It wasn't high quality. So I have some old chainsaws, old John Deere's, old Echoes, and I run 40-to-1 mix in everything. Even the brand new stuff I get, it says 50-to-1. I feel more confident personally just going to 40-to-1. And then I've been doing this for 25 years, mixing 40-to-1 on everything. And I have never, ever had a problem, even with those old saws. So yeah, it says 16-to-1. right on the cap, probably. If you're using today's oil mixing in there, that's pretty heavy. It's going to smoke like crazy.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mick?
Yeah, I think it will. I think 100% right. With the difference in oil grades from back then to now, yeah, without a doubt.
Quality of oil nowadays is just way past what it was when you bought that saw, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Nick's Mowers, you see anything on the stream here? You want to answer a question, just shout it out and I'll throw it on here.
There's a weird one there from Jim. Jim says he's got a 6.5. Let me get my hold of a chat. It's going to move. Where is he? 6.5 Honda GX200 has a whistling sound. Thought it had something to do with the recoil starter was rubbing, but even makes the sound when the starter is removed. Any thoughts on a whistling lawnmower?
I'm still trying to find it. Got 216 people in here, Mick. The chat's already going by quick.
Well, last night my chat was nothing about.
What's his name? Jim?
Jim Haddon. Okay. It's just above Grasshopper Cruise. But obviously the chat may have jumped, Steve. But he's got a whistling sound coming from his 6.5 Honda GX200. He thought it had something to do with the starter recoil, but he took the starter recoil off. It still makes the same noise. It's got a whistling noise. So could be the brake. Could be the brake doing it if it's constant.
Some rubbing, making that whistling noise.
Whistling. So it could be just touching the flywheel. It could just be the brake touching it. Possibly. Try firing it up, and then with the brake engaged, give the cable a bit more of a tweak to see if you can pull that pad away from the flywheel slightly. It may be the brake doing it. Possibly.
Yeah, I've never actually ran into that personally with one of those Honda engines that has a whistling sound to it.
I've had not whistling, but sort of not even grinding. You can hear like a resistance sort of noise, and which is a pad against a flywheel sometimes.
Yeah, it sounds to me too like what Mick's saying.
Something similar.
Jim, yeah. Something's rubbing. That'll make a whistling sound.
There's one there. Look, have you ever seen a two-stroke run in reverse? Seen it twice in my life on dirt bikes. Dumped my clutch, brakes went in reverse. Bikes went in reverse.
Yeah, I've heard of that too.
I've seen
it that many times. I've never seen one.
I've seen it with lawnmowers where they've put either the belt's been twisted and you engage with self-propel, or they put the little dogs on back to front. You put it in, it goes backwards. Yeah, I've seen that.
But I think he's talking about the engine itself.
Yeah, not seen that.
Two-stroke engine actually running backwards. I've worked with mechanics before that I swear they've seen that happen before too. And I actually questioned them. I said, okay, do it on purpose. You know why it's doing that? Do it on purpose. I want to see it run backwards. And nobody can figure out how to actually do that on purpose.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
Steve Bernickski. I've never seen it. I don't know even how that's possible. I do believe that can happen because I've had so many comments, people saying it does happen. They've seen it. I've never seen it happen. Don't know why that could be.
John says 8.5 horsepower Tecumseh engine. What weight of oil would you recommend or use?
I always figure weight of oil is kind of dependent on where you live and what temperature it is outside.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you're out where I live on Vancouver Island, Canada, we put 10. See, I worked at shops on Vancouver Island that put 1540 in everything. 10. Another shop will put 1030 in everything. Another shop will put 30 weight, straight 30 weight in everything. Yeah. And it's not a NASCAR. It's not a Formula One car.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's probably that's not a lawnmower, but it's just a small engine.
The W stands for winter, right? So if you're going to get really cold spells, then you want to make sure that you're always consistent with the temperatures and conditions. Over here in the UK, we don't get really, really cold. We don't get really, really hot. So a 30 weight oil is good enough.
Yeah.
Some Hondas might run a bit different, but most of Tecumsehs and Briggses, They don't get over hot, and they don't get over cold. So yeah, all depends on your climate. But I don't think you'll go far wrong with a 30-weight oil, as long as you're not hitting those sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah. Here's a good one for you, Mick, right here. Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly.
What's the difference between 4-stroke and 2-stroke engine oil? Is it okay to use either on my ride-on lawnmower, which is a 4-stroke? It's just that I have a few cans of each from previous motors. So
No.
two-stroke oil that you mix with your gas and your 2-stroke engine, your chainsaw, your strimmer, whatever, it's made to burn. It is. There's a flashpoint difference there. It's made to burn.
Yeah.
10 weight, 30 is not made to burn.
No.
So, and plus it's super, super thin. Like it's almost like putting automatic transmission fluid in your what'd you say? A 4-stroke. I would never do that in a million years, Brian.
No.
Even to get you by to get a job done, I would never do it. I've seen it a million times where you check the oil on somebody's lawnmower and it's bright blue, and they just filled the whole crankcase up with 2-stroke oil.
The only one machine I would ever mix a different type of fuel in would be a chainsaw, but it would be in the chainsaw bar lubricant side. So if you're out in the field and you've run out of chainsaw lube and you've got a bit of 2-stroke lube left over, it's not going to hurt just to get you through, but not recommended for long amounts of time. On
your chainsaw, putting different oils in for your bar and chain oil, absolutely anything in there is better than nothing.
Yeah.
If you put automatic transmission oil, even used motor oil, which is not a good thing, but it's still better than nothing. You're not going to burn your bar so your bar's bright blue and we can't even touch it, right? All right. I hope we answered that question for you, Brian Kelly.
What about Ryan? There's one from Ryan. Can you explain how to know if my engine on my lawnmower blew, or if there's something else? I have no clue. So you have to be a bit descriptive. What's it doing? Is it seized? Is it smoking? Is it backfiring? Let us know what it's doing.
Yeah, Ryan, there's not enough information there to answer the question.
Well, he's saying it blew, so I'm guessing we're getting this big mosquito smoking effect is what I'm thinking, but it could be a multitude of things.
Yeah, it could be a blown head gasket. It could be your rings are blown out or broken on the piston. I've seen the oil ring on some of those that are actually shattered, and oil will go right by and burn like that. Or it could be too full of oil. But there's lots of different answers for that one.
There's one for you, Steve, because that's a craft. We don't do a lot of Craftsman over here in the UK. How do you take off a Craftsman chainsaw bar when the 2 bolts are spinning that you loosen off? So the 2 retaining bolts of the nut to take the bar off, they're spinning. So I know that some chainsaws they are actually captive, and what you can do is you can just slide the bar out, and the nuts are actually captive. I'm not sure on the Craftsman. That's your end, I think.
What was his name again?
His name was Leroy, in blue, big L.
There we go.
That's the one.
There we go. How can you take off a Craftsman chainsaw bar when the 2 bolts are spinning and you can't loosen the nuts? Okay, so first thing I would try is, if you have a little impact like this, because it smacks as soon as you hit the trigger. It's not just an even twist, it smacks it off, and sometimes that will take the nut off if it's spinning, because it'll break that nut loose faster than the bar stud is turning. And I've also done this. I've taken a pry bar where I kind of get it in behind the nut and put some more pressure on it as I'm using that. Yep. Or your hand, what do you call it over there, Mick? Scrunch?
Yes, a wrench. Yes, wrench.
Yep. So try, Leroy, I hope you have one of these. Try that, and you might see it smacks that nut off of there. But then next time, take those. If you can get it off, take your stud. Your studs are obviously spinning in there. Take the studs out. blue Loctite, maybe. I don't know if I'd use red because then it's really permanent in
Well,
magnesium.
actually, Steve has just come up with a good solution if it's possible, and that is to get a grinder or hacksaw and cut some little tiny slots actually into the bolt of the guard. Then you can put a flathead screwdriver in and maneuver it. You could do it if that's available.
That's actually a beauty idea.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah, that could very well work. Yeah. All right. Moving on.
Harry just said.
Say what?
Harry just said, "What's the best thing to do? Ryobi strimmers." I know I'd do with them. That's because he was in his workshop today. Hagrid.
Oh, Hagrid. Oh, yeah, I see him. There you go.
He was in his workshop today.
Nothing to do with Ryobi strimmers. Yeah. See what Mick's doing right there? Yeah. I do understand that there are some people out there, Mick, that Ryobi strimmers, they're we call them weed eaters out here. It's just a generic name, right? They're cheap. They're inexpensive to go buy one from Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that. And I can understand why people buy those because they're like $75 sometimes, right? And some people just can't afford to go buy a $300 steel or a Husqvarna. Husqvarna. Yeah. So I get that. And some people here, put it this way, Hagrid, I would never ever take one of those in and pay a small engine mechanic to fix that.
Well,
because the cost of getting a mechanic to fix it is going to be more than you could buy it for brand new. Well, if you can fix it yourself, by all means, do it.
Hagrid is actually a small engine bloke, and he was given 2 today to fix.
Oh, you already know that.
Yeah.
Hey, what's that right here?
You got a super happy boy.
Roaming gnome. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that. $9.99 super sticker. Cool. Thanks, buddy.
Tony wrenches on weed eater carbs. Do you rebuild or just replace? I found it's actually cheaper, including labor, to just replace.
Yeah.
Go on, Steve. Your screen.
I'm just putting it up here. Gary Todd, weed eater carbs. Do you rebuild or replace? Man, you know what? This is a big thing with different mechanics. You're going to get a different answer from several different mechanics. If you're doing it, I can understand why a shop will just take a brand new carburetor and just say screw it, and they'll just put a brand new carburetor on there because they are saving the labor rate of rebuilding it, and then you got a brand new carburetor. If you're doing it yourself, I know because on Amazon you can buy a brand new carburetor for some weed eaters out there that are $14, $15.
Oh, even cheaper than that.
OEM.
Over here, even cheaper than that. I mean, I think for me, if you got like a Zammer coming off of a decent machine, and you got to pay over here in the UK £24 for genuine parts, gasket, diaphragm, complete rebuild kit, but still cheaper than a £40-50 Zammer carburetor original. I think too many people are getting caught up with the $6.99 Amazon that I do carburetors that are quite difficult to tune. And when the diaphragms do actually bed in after about a week's use, you've got to retune it again a little bit. I do try and clean, but for customers, it's not effective. It really isn't. You know, by the time you strip it in the cleaner, rebuild it, it's an hour's labor.
Yeah.
You know?
And I actually do agree with that. I like rebuilding stuff. I don't like being a parts replacer.
No, me neither.
You know, you can teach a drunk monkey how to replace the carb on your weed eater. It doesn't make him a mechanic, right? It doesn't make that monkey a mechanic. He's just a parts replacer now. I get a lot of satisfaction out of repairing something, not just slapping a new one on. But as far as Gary Todd, as far as your question is, yeah, sometimes it is actually more cost effective to just put a new carb on.
Stills or echoes? Echoes. That's Brian.
Was that his That was his question. Still or echoes?
That's his question. Just below that super chat. Still's about 5 down from the super chat. Brian Black says, still or echo? I don't bias now, Steve.
There we go. Oh, trimmers. Got it. Got it. Hedge trimmers or grass trimmers? Probably strimmers he's talking about. It actually doesn't matter, but yeah, you know what? That question right there is the same to me as saying Ford or Chevy.
Yeah.
You get 10 mechanics, you get 10 guys in the same room. 5 of them are going to love Chevys and think Fords are crap, and the other 5 are going to say the opposite way.
I like Echo because they're slightly cheaper. They're not commercial grade. They're not home user grade. They're just right in the middle there. They're fair price. The parts are quite easy to get hold of. I quite like the Echo. And
where I live too, Echo, if you buy a brand new Echo, their 5-year warranty still is 2-year.
There you go.
So it is a better warranty. It
comes down to who's using it, where they're using it, how often they're using it, everything else. There's lots of variables.
Yeah. And also on that note, I was at a service school, technical update service school for Echo a few years ago, and they actually told us and demonstrated to us how finely machined their cylinders are. I'm not 100% sure. I think their pistons are normal, but the cylinders that they machine Echo swears that there's no break-in period for an Echo engine because they have a convex piston ring, which is round on the outside, so it's not actually scraping the cylinder. And on that note too, the cylinder is machined so finely that there is no break-in period. It's already broke in. If you ever take an Echo strimmer, hedge trimmer, whatever, right off the shelf in the showroom and do a compression test on it, it's like 80 or 90.
Yeah.
And people go, it can't run on 80 or 90. And yeah, it does because it's already broke in.
Yeah.
So I really like Echoes too, Mick. I think Echoes are really good stuff. Yeah. Hope that answers your question, Brian Black.
Where are you going next, then?
What's this one right here? Charles Coker. Have you heard of rejuvenating a car lawn mower battery by using a 200 amp battery charger to desulfate the batteries? Nope. Yeah, there are some videos on YouTube about how to desulfate a battery. I have actually not tried doing that. What I have tried is this little unit right here. It's an auto desulfator. You hook it up to your battery. And you don't need to plug it in or anything. It just works on the battery. Okay, you put positive and negative on there, and it pulsates. It's got a little electronic thing in here that pulsates back and forth to go from your plates that are in your battery. It causes the electricity to go forwards and backwards through that, and all the desulfating is stuck on one side of the plate, so it helps take that off. I did try this on 5 different batteries, and it worked awesome on one battery.
Okay.
It actually worked awesome on one battery. They were like $25.
What was the result? Because of the other 4 didn't work, or?
I took 5 different batteries, and I that had different problems. The one that it actually worked on was my riding lawnmower battery that would not keep a charge. I would charge it up; it would hit 12.6 volts.
Yeah.
And 5 days later, it was dead. Mm-hmm. And so I ran that thing a few times on it, charged it up, ran that thing, and all of a sudden, my battery on my riding lawnmower doesn't go dead anymore. I'm not kidding. But the other 4 batteries, it didn't do a darn thing to the other 4 batteries. So
Uber says, Ryby's working great after beating the neighbor that blows leaves in my yard. I don't know what that's about.
Some people hate leaf blowers.
Yeah, I know.
They just hate those things because wake them up 7 o'clock in the morning. Somebody's blowing leaves out there, and they're loud.
Hi, Pete. How you doing? 307 viewers. Give Steve a big thumbs up, people. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for the man.
Well, 321 people on here. Well,
that's
thanks for stopping by, watching Mick and I.
Oh, we're on the net, aren't we? It's always nice of a natter.
Yeah, here's one. Hey, Mick, we were talking about this on your channel. Read that one.
Where are you? Electronic. Oh, yeah, well, it's gonna be coming up more and more frequent, isn't it? Yep. Do you think everything will go electronic before long? I think no. I don't think everything will, but I think the majority of stuff is coming, and we can't deny it. We need to embrace it. It's coming, and some of the stuff is really, really good. I just think some of us old school nut turners and wrenchers just like that petrol smell and all the rest of it, and we don't like the change. However, there are some industries, I think we were discussing last night on my stream, that there are some industries that I think will not be able to go straight over to electric until there are some major advances. But like you were saying, Steve, that those advances are already there. We're just waiting for other bits to catch up to coincide with it.
Yeah, that's right. I think that before long, all the small stuff, your 25, your little strimmers, your hedge trimmers, all that stuff will be battery powered. Obviously, they can't. A faller that goes out there with a huge chainsaw has a 36-inch bar and chain on it. Yeah, it's not going to go battery powered anytime soon because there's nothing out there that can. They don't have a choice.
No,
they can't go. The EPA, the emission, what's that? EPA, Emissions Protection Agency, something like that. Environmental Protection Agency. They're the ones that are cracking down on two-stroke engines right now. And it's going to get to the point. They actually told me in an email, they said it will get to a point where put it this way, every year they put that out. They're the agency, they're the government, the law, right?
Government body.
And they say to all the manufacturers, you have to get your emissions down even lower now this year. And it's got to the point where a two-stroke engine, they can't do anything more. Yeah. They can't do anything to make them run any leaner and have less emissions. So in that email from the EPA that I got, they said that it'll get to the point where a manufacturer is going to say, we can't go any further. We can't meet your laws anymore, your regulations. Yeah. We can't do it. And they'll say, fine, sell them a battery-powered one then.
Yeah.
The battery-powered ones are just as good as the gasoline-powered ones. They're more environmentally friendly, and they do the same thing. One battery charge lasts as long as one tank of gas, petrol.
That's it.
And that's it. So the EPA is saying, well, who cares if you can't sell a two-stroke? Now, the battery-powered ones are just as good. Sell them a battery-powered one. If you can't meet our regulations anymore, stop making them.
I'm still going to buy petrol regardless. It's not happening.
Yeah. Well, in our industry, Mick, even if all that goes, nobody's selling two-stroke engines anymore. We will still be repairing two-stroke engines for 25 years. It's not going to really hurt a shop, right?
Yeah, I don't believe so. Or 1930s dentists.
Yeah, exactly. Looking for another question. I hope that answered your question, Dean Cumbly.
There's one. Working on an old Decumish engine, valves in the block. Any tips on how to get the valve spring retainers back in place? There's a good one.
On a Tecumseh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overhead valves or the old school?
Could be. No idea.
A completely different answer depending on what type of Tecumseh that is. They're not all the same.
You want
overhead valve? It's super easy.
Yeah.
I think he's probably not talking about that.
He may not have a if it's an older one, he may not have a compressing tool, which might be leading why he's having problems with it. overhead valve. You can just get 2 screwdrivers if you haven't got, and just push them in gently and drop it down.
Oh, I look at this one. Doug Jones. I have commercial property on a highway, and I'm going to start a small engine repair shop and pub. That's awesome. Can I show this live channel to help bring in customers? Absolutely. I'm pretty sure Mick won't mind if you run his.
Oh, no. Do you know what? I can't think of nothing better than to go down to go. It's a bit like, right, going down to the local Indian takeaway. I always go down because the wife will say, "Do you want me to go?" No, I'll go. Because whilst you're waiting, we always give you a pint of beer whilst you're waiting. See, so I was really busy in there, you know. But what better thing to do than to have your strimmer fixed or have your mower a blade sharpened and balanced whilst you're sat there watching the game or something, whilst drinking the beer and mates in the back grinding your blade. What a fantastic thing to do.
Doug Jones, that's brilliant.
I think you just hit gold.
I think that's awesome. Do it.
Yeah, do it. And invite us over. I'm up for that.
Yeah, Frosty here is a good one. Frosty, what happens with the landfills full of dead batteries now? That's exactly right. That's the whole thing about Tesla cars now, right?
Yeah.
Is that good for the environment?
No, it's not. It's a hideous thing.
It's good for the air quality, maybe, but for the environment.
Stephen says, "Can you make a lawnmower powered by beer?"
Now I know what I'm working on tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll try it out. Hey, Project Farm's the one you want to hit up for that. Maybe he'll do that. Does a lawnmower work on beer?
Yeah.
Well, I know beer doesn't work with a crap for de-rusting something.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was anything beer couldn't do. No, it can't take rust off.
Yeah, you're right there. 350 million people charging their car at the same time, not to include all the garden equipment, all on trickle charge as well.
Yeah. I saw this article on, those big windmill fans?
Yeah.
For generators that work in the wind. They're huge. They're gigantic. They're like a skyscraper.
Yeah, huge.
So what I read on that was everybody thinks, oh, this is a great idea. And then they broke it down and they said, do you realize that the energy that it took to build this windmill in so much iron ore, so much smelting and doing this and that for the environment, the lifetime of that windmill will never, ever compensate for the energy that it took to build the windmill.
And not only that, right? I'd hate to be the poor bugger that's got to change a belt if it snaps.
Is this thing belt drive? Are you serious? I got to go up there?
Under 90-foot long belt.
Exactly. Oh, man. So, so there's a lot of environmental stuff out there it sounds good in theory, but it's really not doing that much good,
So what about the Hairy Farmer? There's a name for you. Hairy Farmer says, I've got a Husqvarna 245R box cutter. It was running fine and then just stopped one day. Tested the plug out and it sparked on and off. Compression is good. Clean the magnetos and coil. Change the plugs. No joy. Any ideas? So if you've got spark and you've got compression, the first thing I would do is put a little bit of go-go juice down the head and just try and get it to fire, just to confirm that you have got good compression and the engine is combusting as it should do. If it's combusting, it's, in my opinion, I don't know about you, Steve, it's one of two problems. It could be a timing issue. Although you've got a spark, it may not be sparking at the right time. If it's not popping off, if not, it should be a fuel delivery issue of some description.
My problem with that question right there, Harry Farmer, is you say compression is good. You wouldn't believe how many comments I get on my channel saying, I can't believe my chainsaw doesn't start. I checked the compression. The compression is awesome. It's 75.
Yeah.
That's not good compression. So your idea of good compression might not actually be good.
Yeah, get a testing kit and test it.
Yeah. Very first thing on that, Harry Farmer, what I would do, pull the muffler off, unscrew the muffler and look through the exhaust port into your piston and see if there's any damage on the side of the piston itself.
Yeah.
I have just seen too many people that just go crazy on it. Won't start. They change the coil, they change the carburetor, all the fuel lines and everything. And then later on, they find out that the piston cylinder is scored to death and there's nothing. They just wasted all that money and time. And it's because they didn't take the muffler off and look at the piston in the first place and say, okay, this thing's screwed now. She's done. Try that, Harry Farmer.
Where want to go next? Pardon me. That'll be my dinner.
There you go. See, Tin Man right here. Pulls a muffler first on any saw I work on and check. I know a lot of mechanics that do that. I always pull the spark plug out and at least drop the piston down to bottom dead center so I can actually be looking there with a flashlight and at least see the exhaust side of the cylinder. You can't see the piston, but at least on the cylinder, you see some good gouges. Well, you already know what you're going to find when you pull the muffler off and look at the side of the piston.
Yeah.
So, Tin Man, I agree with you. I know lots of mechanics like yourself that they do that every time. They want to know. They want to know if they're wasting their time. Absolutely. Walter Barger, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So here's one right here. We have a bunch of concrete saws, Dolmar, Makita, 140 PSI, still don't start. Well, that's good. That's great that you know that. You just eliminated one thing right there. Now you know it's not the compression. Concrete saws are brutal, man. They're sucking that concrete dust in. It's the only unit that I really ever see that has it won't be damaged on the exhaust side. It'll be damaged on the intake side because it's good air filters, but your air filter gets plugged up again. It's not in there right. Sucking that concrete dust back is sandblasting the intake side of your piston off.
Not only that, but they get taken out the van on the deck. They're fired up. The second they're started, they're put to work. Cut. So you got a lot of heat transfer as well from the piston pins up the side of a bore where you just revving them up so quick. They're not warming up. When they're finished, they're thrown back in the van. They're just not loved, are they? A concrete saw, just not loved at all. I've had so many that have had the filters in or had no filters in. And a good carburetor clean can bring them back. If you've got good compression, that's good. But they've got to have the right stuff. They've got to have the right air filters. Got to have a carburetor nice and cleaned, and let them warm up.
There's one 460 Rancher starts, idles fine for a minute, and then it bogs out. That could be, in my opinion, simple carburetor adjustment.
Could be.
Mick, do you have carburetor adjustment videos on your channel?
I tended to do carburetor adjustments myself rather than do the video. So I've recently just done a mount field trimmer, weed whacker, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
And the little tiny hidden jet that no one knows about. It's a big secret. No one's let you go in there. It just wanted that tweaking just a touch, just to bring it up. I do carburetor tuning on my own equipment. I've not really done a video on it, so Steve is your man for videos on how to. But just buy yourself some nice cheap carburetor tuners and have a little go at it. You can hear it with your ear. Just have a listen to it.
I do have a video in my. If you go to my playlists, chainsaw playlist, that's definitely in there. How to adjust the carburetor on a chainsaw. So try that. The only other thing I can really think, no, Boggs is wrong. It could be that your vent in your fuel tank also is plugged and it's literally running out of gas. There is something you could do for that.
What is this 460 Rancher? Is that a saw, is it, Steve?
Yeah, it's a chainsaw. It's a Husqvarna. Husqvarna.
Husqvarna.
Chainsaw,
okay.
Yeah. So try both of those, buddy, and yeah, go watch that video. And I got so many wicked comments on that saying that just helped my saw runs better than brand new. So try it.
Someone says this guy with Steve needs to speak English. Laugh out loud. Well, that's because I am, sweetheart.
Here's a good one. I like this one. Scooter, still FS55 trimmer. Is a blade kit safe? Is a carburetor adjustment necessary? Oh, you mean for a carburetor adjustment necessary if you put the blade on? I think that's what you might mean.
That's what I mean.
I play with my carburetors every time I fire it up.
Yeah,
I just do. I just go, oh, it doesn't sound quite right to me. Oh, tweak. There we go. You know, is it blades kit safe? Some people will say yes, and some people will say no, and that is because the shaft, the drive shaft itself, even though it's a straight shaft trimmer, the drive shaft is still a spring. You know, like a speedometer cable. Yeah. Even though it's not going around a corner in a curved shaft, they still put the flexible drive shaft in an FS55 trimmer. Yeah. If you do put a blade on it, do not put one of those blades on it that has like three sides, like big blades. You know, they have three sides or four big paddles kind of thing.
Like a Death Star sort of thing.
Yeah, like that. Because if you start hitting a little sapling the size of your thumb and it starts hitting that, it can twist your drive shaft and the spring drive shaft will snap in half. Yeah. If you do put a blade on an FS55, I would highly suggest you put one on that looks like a chainsaw. It's got the teeth, the small teeth that will actually saw through a piece of wood. There's no jarring and banging when you do that. It's just a simple sawing motion through it. And I've used those on FS55s a lot. Never had a drive shaft break ever. So I sure hope that answered your question. That was one I actually knew. Hey, Mick?
Yeah, no, yeah. Without a doubt, buddy. Great advice. Warm up your petrol equipment before putting it on full throttle. Exactly that. I cannot endorse that enough. Definitely.
There you go. Got to my own horn here. Tractor man. Steve's chainsaw carb tuning video is the best way to do it. Watch it and thumbs ups. Thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate that. Any of those popping out at you, Mick?
I'm right down the bottom. I don't know whereabouts you are.
I kind of like this one, Mike. Old Homelight Super Auto, 30 years old. It needs a new carb. Are you 100% it needs a new carb? If it needs a new carb, you are good luck. So, is it worth fixing?
If you can get a carb for it, it'd be all right. But...
Well, if you can rebuild it, it probably has one of those old Tillotson carburetors on it.
I did one just a week, Tillotson.
Yeah,
they're nice.
Again, hey Mike, before you actually put any money or effort into that thing, again, pull the muffler off and have a look at the piston so you can see what kind of shape the engine itself is in. Whoa, Nick, this might be one for you. Cylinder reel mower. You call them cylinder mowers over there, don't you?
Mower over here, they're cylinders. Yeah. We don't call them reels. Where do I get a new solid tire for a reel mower, not motor?
If you take the measurements off of that, like figure out how big the hole is in the middle. It's probably 1/2 inch, and then the outside diameter. You could probably just go to Amazon or something like that and just type in solid wheel lawnmower wheel, and so you might be able to find one.
This is a push one, right?
Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. Do you know what? To be perfectly honest, if a diameter is good and there are some good spares about, you could probably just manufacture an old push mower, lawnmower wheel to fit on that. If you get the right diameter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you meant a real mower, as in a real mower, not a real mower, push mower, real mower.
No, it's a real mower. It just has no engine on it.
My engine's got a 600cc Blackburn on it. Are these Chinese? Go on, where you going? Yeah, that's where I was going. Yeah.
Is that the one you were doing?
Yeah.
Are these Chinese plastic carb for Briggs junk or what? You will hear people out there say, I hate these things. I have a video. I have 2 videos. You hate them? Do you, Nick?
I hate them.
I have 2 videos on how to 2 huge common problems with those things. When
the reason
I don't personally think they're junk, but they're so cheap to replace them too, right?
The thing is, they have now upgraded their game, because you can buy a cheap imitation one for like nine quid, or about $10.
Yeah.
And they're cheap enough. Or you can buy a brand new one in the UK for about £35 to £38. But now what you can buy is just the cartridge. The big cartridge that comes out. You can now just buy the cartridge, and that's 90% of the problem with that carburetor is that cartridge. So you can now buy that independently, take the old one out, put the new one in. Everyone's a winner. I
agree, 100%. And then also on the parts breakdown for that cartridge, you can buy one that's regular, and then you can also buy another one that's high altitude.
Exactly.
You can actually buy 2. The size of the hole in the jet, the orifice in the jet is slightly different for the high altitude one. I personally don't think they're junk. I clean them, and they work great after that. So
I seem to find they have a lifespan of around about 4 years. Anything over 4 years, they tend to break down. But the problem is that there's so many customers will say, "Yeah, put a new carb on it." I see them on eBay for like £4, and I think, don't touch that one. Go for a genuine, and you won't have a problem,
Hey, look at that. Who's that? Natalie McColeman. Yo, bro. That's my sister. That's my sister.
I didn't know.
Hi, Nat. You came in here to make fun of me, didn't you?
You got another super chat there just coming, Steve.
Another one. That's also from Roaming Gnome.
Yeah,
cool. Didn't you give us the first one?
He did. I'm down the bottom, so I'm assuming that's another one, buddy.
Well, hey, thank you very much again. I really appreciate that.
I have a Stihl FS55R myself, and put a new carburetor on it, and I love it. There you go. Was it a copy, or was it genuine? Apparently, Guns Unloaded says you guys are awesome. Oh yeah.
Check this out.
Go on.
You have any experience with these, Mick?
Yeah, I've got a video on one of them.
Do you?
Yeah.
You love them, don't you? Love the carburetor?
They're okay. I can get my hands in. Not so much of a problem for me. I can do it. Yeah, they can be a bit of a pickle.
That little motor on the top.
Yeah.
The little white motor that opens and closes the butterfly.
Yeah.
I don't like those carburetors at all.
Not so much that it's getting the spark plug. It's getting the spark plug into it is the thing. It's right down in the deck.
Big long reach. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a E2000 generator, drilling it out so choke can stay off. Okay.
Well, that is, you know what? There is also that pilot jet. That carburetor also still has that pilot jet down the top. Also, might not really help with the choke staying off. Part might though. I've done those pilot jet. I have a video on my channel. Well, what's your video about, Nick, on that one? What are you doing with it?
I think mine just came in. It was a trash one. It came in, and the carburetor was absolutely stuffed. It looked like a baby had actually taken a number 2 in the carburetor bowl, and I cleaned the carburetor out and just got it running. And in the end, I think the main issue was it was the wrong spark plug was put in it initially by the original owner. it had a really short like Briggs spark, like B2LM or Champion in there. Should have had a long reach. That was the main reason.
Yeah. Really?
It was about 2 years ago, yeah.
I'm reading through these comments as good as I can, guys.
Well,
Guys and girls.
Man 604 says, change your T-shirt, Mick. Get one that says Steve on it. Whoa!
What do you? Oh, wait till you see that little package that I sent you, Mick. Wait till you open that up.
Come on now, don't shoot me now. What's going on? Behave.
Hey, you're wearing the Terrells?
Oh, no, I haven't got a Steve one yet.
Oh,
okay. Let's swing it round. Have you got a mixed mowers one?
I got one ordered. It hasn't showed up yet. I ordered it from Mixed Mowers, but they're jerking me around on the shipping charges.
It's the admin.
Here's one. Okay, let's go, Jack. Jack, I have a Chinese GX V120. So it's a clone, a Chonda.
Yeah,
extremely low on power. Well, it's low on power. It's a 4 horsepower engine. He wants to throw a genuine Honda carb on it and redo the valves to improve the power. I honestly believe that you're wasting your time.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe that is going to change anything to do with the power at all.
Not a copy.
No.
The material.
No, I think that is a total waste of time.
The materials on.
So a GX V120, it's a lawnmower engine. It's got the vertical shaft, and it's a very small engine.
Mm.
So it might just be not what you're expecting. Maybe it's putting out the power it's supposed to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not what you were hoping for. Hey, we just had this question, didn't we? Can I use 50-to-1 synthetic oil in old engines that call for 16-to-1? We just had a conversation about this earlier. You probably missed it, BJ Shock. You probably missed that. What did we agree on, Mick? Mix everything at 40-to-1. You're good?
Yeah.
Well, the point was, BJ, you have an old engine. It says 16-to-1 right on the gas cap, probably. It's because it is so old. The old mix oil back then was pretty much just 1030 motor oil. That's so 2-stroke engine oil has come a long, long ways since that unit was built. And the 2-stroke mix oil is so much better, higher quality now. I've been mixing stuff for 40-to-1. Old, new, whatever, 40-to-1 works for me. For 25 years, I've never had a problem with anything like that. Use bacon grease.
What was it? Someone said. Was it someone said in my panel last night? Could you use vegetable oil in a Briggs? Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, he said you use and what was our answer to that? Why would you? It vegetable oil from the grocery store costs more than proper engine oil. So why would you do that?
I'd only use it if I turn it into. I'd only use it if I turn it into a deep fat fryer anyway.
Yeah, you run your lawnmower and everybody's getting hungry because they think somebody's cooking French fries.
Yeah. How about 50-to-1 mix?
I'm always very leery about 50-to-1 mix. Even in brand new stuff, I know you're supposed to with the good synthetic oil or whatever, but I still go 40-to-1. Brand new unit says 50-to-1. I still go 40-to-1. It doesn't smoke. It's just it's a little bit better peace of mind for me.
Right.
I'm mixing 50-to-1.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, did I make a little mistake there? If you make a little bit of a mistake, mixing 50-to-1, maybe now it's 60-to-1, and now that's not good. You make a little mistake mixing at 40-to-1, you're still going to be good.
You're still within.
Yeah. Great questions coming, you guys. These are some really intelligent questions that are coming up right now.
Bradley says, "Can I run my Husqvarna 218 off of Jack Daniels?"
I would definitely give that a shot.
Give it a shot.
Because that's all good Jack Daniels is for.
Yeah.
I don't.
Apparently, Ken Engines has just hit 1K. There you go. Ken did hit it last night, apparently.
Oh, did he?
Congratulations.
Is he here right now? Is Ken here?
I haven't seen him.
Okay.
We're still talking about. There's one there just come through from where is that? Keep still, chat. Kraz 69. Have to prime my new Craftsman leaf blower at least a dozen times per the instructions, and another dozen pulls to start. That doesn't sound right. Is what it says. You got it? Big red, big pink letter C. I don't know whereabouts you are, whether you're up or down.
I'm looking. There it is.
Okay.
There we go. Have to prime my new new Craftsman leaf blower. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of people think those purge bulbs are actually primers. They're actually not. They don't prime. They don't actually shoot gasoline into your engine. They're just circulating it through your carburetor to get the air out of your carburetor so it starts easier.
Pull it through.
Yeah, so you're not flooding it unless you have the lines hooked up backwards. Then it could be flooding it, but if it's new, you shouldn't have had those lines off.
No.
And another dozen pulls to start.
It doesn't sound right.
No.
It could be something simple like when you're actually purging the primer through, maybe the actual intake pipe is not high enough or low enough inside the fuel. So maybe the fuel line's a bit stiff and it's curled up round. So fill the tank right up full to the top, just below the rim of the cap, and then try it. It may be lots of these two-stroke machines. If you run below the quarter line, sometimes the fuel intake pipes sit up a little bit too high and they float above the line, and they're just sucking in air. It could be something to do with it.
Yeah. That's actually a really good point. I've seen that lots of times.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be happening on a new one. He says that's a new one.
I bought a brand new multi-tool just this year, and the oil feed on the chainsaw attachment on the extension was completely broken. Where someone put it in there, forced in, it snapped off. So it could be a fuel pipe problem. It could be anything, couldn't it?
It could be a fuel problem too. You get a brand new machine, and you go home and take your gas can and dump old crappy petrol in there.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing to do with the machine.
Yeah, exactly. Check
your fuel. Make sure it's nice fresh fuel, and there's no water in the bottom of your gas can. Stuff like that. That's the first thing I would check. Cravesy. Check that. I think that could be a fuel issue for you.
My Stihl BR4.
Hey, Ken, you want to come in? Should we get Ken? Should we allow him to come in?
Well, I think he may be a little bit on the go tonight because he's just reached 1,000 subscribers. He's just got his 1,000 subscribers tonight, so he's going to be full of beans.
There you go. See how we can? Keep it calm. Keep it calm on Mick will ban you.
Yeah,
ban you. This is my channel. There he goes. Add to stream. Hey, Natalie, if you're still on, see that link right that is put up? Click that link and see what happens.
No, I just, if I can, Steve, I want to do a shout out to two people: Bruce Pender, our good friend Bruce Pender, and Mr. James Condon, Mr. Generator. Those two guys gave me shout outs in their vids, and in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, I've gotten almost 400 more subscribers. So hats off to Bruce Pender and to Mr. James Condon. Thank you so much, my friends.
Good on it. Congratulations, Ken.
Oh, yeah. Now I can do live streams from my truck. I can take my phone with me and take you guys all over.
No stopping you now.
You can monetize now, can't you?
Are we within?
No, I have to get more minutes. The minutes, I'm a little shy on the minutes.
Are we within 2 meters of each other, or what? Should we be wearing masks, right? There you go.
Oh,
Just playing with
you got a
this
lot of
now.
good questions here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Any good spline tools for house? I go on Amazon and buy the cheap tool kit for the carburetors where you get like 10 or 12 different tools for like $8. I mean, cheap.
Yep, that's where I get them too.
Yeah. And they give you the free the welding tip torch cleaners and all that stuff, brushes, all that stuff. The Chinese like to give you extra goodies when you buy stuff.
Yeah. I mean, what sort of good as they are.
Yeah.
I had a carburetor today. I'll show you a picture. It looked like a bunch of Jello inside, and the guy's saying, "Oh, can you rebuild it?" And I'm like, "Wuhan, for $12, I'll just get another one." You know?
Yeah.
And he didn't want to put the bowl gasket back in the carburetor, so he put a ton of silicone on it. Oh my gosh!
What's this? What's this, guys? Any alternative to bentonite grease?
Bentonite grease. You know what I've used? I've used low temperature grease that I got at Tractor Supply that's guaranteed down to like 20 degrees, and it's worked fine. I've used bentonite is a good grease. Don't get me wrong, but it cakes up over time and turns solid. It's expensive. They still sell it, but it's very expensive grease from Peerless Tecumseh.
Yeah.
Were you on Dusty's there, Mick?
I was for a little while. Russell says, Mick.
No, go ahead.
Russell says, Mick, how long have you worked on machinery? So I started off as a boat boy down at a local town where I was born, working on outboards, old marine inboards, Stuart Turners with the hand cranks and what have you. So from about the age of 11, I started working on machinery. When I worked on a farm, tractors and what have you, and then progressed to the railway, and now just do what I do as a hobby. That's my background.
There we go. There's another one from Nick.
Where's
23 horse Briggs Intech.
Yeah.
Treated air filter and a foam pre-filter. Do you oil the pre-filter or use it as is? You guys remember old school, right? You had those Briggs, those kind of triangle shaped Briggs. They always said oil them and then squeeze all the oil out.
Yeah.
Do you guys do that?
I don't oil the pre-filters anymore. I don't.
I only lightly oil some filters, mainly on the classic stuff. I do the filter, not the pre-filter. I just bang the pre-filter out, give it a clean out with an air compressor done.
I feel that when I take a foam filter and I clean it, and then I'm like, I'm supposed to oil it now? I just cleaned it. I'm making it dirty. And I'm
Some people do. The oil will trap finer particles of dust.
Yes.
That's all.
Yeah.
Well, that is true. That is true. But I always feel that when I do it, it's
sometimes I just lightly spray like a WD-40, just quick on the bottom, and then put it in. But it's not getting soaked. It's just getting a quick little spray. That's it.
Just think of what like K&N and those filter people do. They have a gauze filter and they coat it with their oil to catch the dust.
Yeah. I've done both on those old Briggs where I sometimes I don't even wring it out. It'll be completely dry, or I'll put it in and just really saturate it with oil and then stick it back on there, and it still doesn't seem to choke out or anything.
Yeah.
But that's those old ones, right?
Yeah.
Pre-filter, Nick, to answer your question, I don't, for a pre-filter, I don't think you will hurt anything by doing that, but is it worth it?
It'll clog faster though if it's the summertime with dust.
Right.
It'll clog faster.
It'll plug up faster. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. But the bentonite JH, I use the low temperature grease.
Okay. All right. Who's got their eye on the next question? I'm scrolling all over the place. There's one. Yes, I live in Canada. I am Canadian, eh?
There's one. Neil F. There's one. I've had 3 Titan multi-tools for 3 years. Every 6 months, new carburetors and good. Well, you should be doing better than just three new carburetors, Neil. But they're not a bad machine for occasional use. But they're not a professional machine, are they? The Titan. The Titans are like your Ryobis and your cheaper home light ones, Steve, over here.
Somebody asking on there about diesel engines. I know absolutely zero about diesel engines.
I worked on a few when I was on the farm, tractors and the like.
There was a kid, Scooter Pinion, looking Husqvarna 7.7 ES self-propelled motor, barely runs at low idle, can't get any RPM to increase without dying. I'm assuming that's an ES engine, Mick, the Briggs ES engine.
It says ES, 7.7 ES.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's the carburetor or the governor system on those. Make sure the governor system's working properly.
That almost sounds like it could be a fuel issue to me too.
Could be. Yeah.
Maybe water in the carburetor.
I had something like that, and what it ended up being was the needle seat was swollen. The seat was swollen, float was too low. It would run for 20 seconds, and then that was it.
Interesting. I've seen those rubber seats on some of those swollen up so bad that the hole in the middle of the donut is almost shut.
I'm doing a video. I'm not going to announce the whole thing, but I'm doing a video similar to Terrell where I have 8 seats from Tecumseh's, and I'm going to expose them to the various carb cleaners, and I'm going to show you guys which ones swell and which ones don't, because people spray carb cleaner on everything, and you really shouldn't with the rubber seats.
I don't. Not me. Steve, what are you doing? Pack it up. I know what you're doing, Steve. Yeah, you know.
How if you tell, here's one, Al McLean. How do you tell if the crankshaft seals are done on a Husky chainsaw? Al, you take the chainsaw. If here's a chainsaw, you hold it up. You do the north, south, east, west. You go all different orientations for about 5 seconds. If the RPM doesn't change, seals are good. And make sure it's warmed up, though. Seals, when they're cold, work great. When they warm up, that's when they expand and start leaking.
Self-taught, Russell.
So what was that one again, Ken? It was a chainsaw. The seals.
The chainsaw seals. How do you know when the seals are going?
Okay, you're absolutely right. That's a great trick that a lot of small engine mechanics have. But there's also the point. Have you ever revved up a chainsaw where you can bench test it and it runs great at? You're bench testing it with your tack and you got it pinned right at 12,000 RPM, right where you want it. And then all of a sudden it goes whee, and it goes up to 14, 15.
The lean out.
That's your seals also, because the little lips, lips on the seal that are touching your crankshaft, all of a sudden, because it's trying to suck so much air, all of a sudden the seal will pop in 12,000 RPM, and all of a sudden it'll go pop, and the seal pops in and starts sucking air, but it won't do it at idle.
No. So but I tell you, that's why we do vacuum and pressure tests.
Yeah, and then you got to go to your vacuum. Yeah, exactly.
So Larry says, would you recommend using no ethanol gasoline in all small engines?
I would absolutely recommend it.
If you can get it. I can't get it here in Connecticut. They don't sell it.
Do I do it? No. But I would absolutely recommend it. The reason is
ethanol fuel, but I keep it fresh.
I can't get non-ethanol fuel anywhere close to where I live. If the gas station down the street sold it, absolutely. Fill my 5 gallons.
Mike Adams says, I'm wondering if you've ever had any experience with the late 60s or early 70 model Briggs and Stratz 3.5 wind-ups. Yeah.
The knuckle busters.
I remember those. I don't have any experience with them other than kicking them aside and saying, let the other mechanic do this one.
I've had one in before, the old wind up, put it over, click it, and away it goes. Or the other one you have slightly older than that is where you engage the pull cord with dead man, and it starts it, and when you let go, it also recalls the system as well. So you don't have to pull it. It's a weird one.
Yeah. Dirt Rider saying I could buy racing fuel, but remember, Dirt Rider, racing fuel is high octane. I can get it. It's $5 a gallon, or what is it? $15 a gallon here. But it's high octane. High octane burns slower, very hard to start in a small engine.
William says, why do people turn the bar on a chainsaw?
Because it wears.
It's exactly that.
Yeah, but not just do that. You better file it too, because if you've ever gotten a sliver from a worn bar, that's not fun. Yeah. Always file and clean out the grease from your bars.
Yeah. Turns into a razor blade after a
Oh my
while.
God, those slivers are terrible. Just like the slivers on a snowblower when they have it adjusted wrong and the impeller hits the pavement. You know, you try and grab the impeller. It's like, ah.
Hi, Honda. How you doing?
I just saw one here about about Enviro Oil. Where'd that guy go?
Enviro Oil.
He said he was thinking of switching.
That's the 100 to 1 Enviro. Oh, I don't like the Omni stuff.
No,
That's Omni 2 Enviro.
I think he's talking about Barn. I can't find him now. The chat went all wonky on me again.
Yeah, it's mucking about mind of it as well, a little tiny bit.
Anyway, I just got him up on the bottom of the screen. That's all. But he said something about he's thinking of switching to a eco-friendly bar and chain oil. The only thing, obviously, it's better for the environment. And where I live,
here we go. I got it. It's right here. It says I'm going to switch to eco-friendly bar and chain oil. Any recommendations from JVB Mike?
Okay. Okay, I can't see him to put him up on the bottom of the screen, but where I live, if any pro out there, whether they be a tree spacer, a climber, a faller, whatever, if you're within 100 meters of any water system, river, creek, lake, you have to, by law, use that eco-friendly bar and chain oil if you're near a water source. So obviously it's a good idea. The problem with that is, I don't know if you guys have ever had chainsaws come in, Ken, where somebody's been using that Enviro oil.
Yeah.
And it gets stuck.
Like mud.
It's like glue. I've had to take a razor knife and cut some of that stuff off sometimes around the bar and chain because it heats up, I guess, and it turns into glue. It's super hard to clean off. Good for the environment, though. Yeah,
Billy says, can I retrofit out a new lawnmower with a throttle? Some and some.
You know what? I've got that comment on my channel a few times because no, you're not supposed to run a lawnmower wide open. Always warm your engine up. You can't on most lawnmowers. You start your lawnmower and it's full throttle right from the first second. It sounds like you should not be doing that. So I can see why Billy Sanford here is saying that. Can you do that and put a throttle on it so you can rev it down? I'm sure you can. That might be a great video, boys. That might be a good video.
Some of it will depend on the governing, because obviously as some carburetors, as you bring the revs down, the choke automatically comes on as well. So you have to be a bit careful there. But I think it's doable. Depends on the governor setup.
Yeah. Hey, Billy Sanford, as soon as you get that done, send me a video on what you did. I'm curious. I actually really want.
Have you ever used CLR in your ultrasonic cleaner?
I just did a video on that like a week ago. Who questioned that one?
That's from MTC Man 42.
I did a whole video on taking rust off of stuff with your ultrasonic.
I was surprised too, Steve. I was surprised at the result. I really was.
Isn't that a blow? That blew my mind too. So, there he is. Have you used CLR? Yes, I have. Oh, you don't have an ultrasonic cleaner. Okay. That is a little different though.
Yeah, you've got to get one.
James Buscher's asking if most chainsaws leak oil. Most chainsaws do leak oil, James, when you don't run them. They do. Yeah.
It's usually the residual, because you're running the inside, but the side cover that holds your bar and chain on, right in there. You're running it and it's soaked with oil just from how it works. It's just splattered with oil. And then you take your chainsaw and go put it on your garage floor, and the next morning you got a little puddle of oil there. Your chainsaw is not actually leaking. It's just the residual oil dripping off from under there.
But sometimes pressure does build up in the oil crankcase in there. Yeah. So I crack my cap and let it stay cracked for 10 minutes before I store it, just in case there's any residual pressure. And on a summer day, hot air, it will pressurize it a little bit and start to burp a little bit of oil out.
Yeah.
There's a good one. Going through, this has come from Mike. Going through too many coils on my twin. What may be the cause? Using OEM coils, apparently.
What model of twin was it?
It doesn't say. Just as a twin. It's right near the bottom, Steve.
I wonder if his kill circuit is bad, Steve. You know when those diodes go bad and you juice the coils?
Could be.
Oh, here's my sister and my brother.
Now we're in trouble.
Coming up.
Look out.
Oh, wow. He looks like you. Holy cow.
Oh, he looked like you. My Lord.
He does.
That's my brother, Corey, and his wife, Nat.
Hello.
Yeah, that's like two peas in a pod right there, isn't it? That's like
now, is that Canada as well, or what?
Oh, yeah. They don't live very far from me.
Yeah. I got a question for you, for you guys. I'm working on a carburetor right now, and is it possible that I put too strong of a spring in the carburetor to hold that valve closed, because it won't rev up now? So to adjust the carburetor.
Well, on the metering needle, just below the diaphragm.
Which spring?
Corey, there's a little something wrong with your microphone. It's cutting in and out really bad. Yeah, I can hear it. Hey, do you still got YouTube on, Corey? Is there a tab at the top of your computer?
Yeah, get rid of YouTube. Get rid of it.
Shut the tab off that so it's just this. The only tab on is up.
Okay, that's better.
That's better.
Nice. All right.
Bingo. Okay, so what kind of carburetor is it?
Mikuni carburetor, and the rebuild kit came with 3 springs. So how do I know what spring to use?
What's it on?
Looked it up. It's talking about pop-off pressure and stuff like that.
It's diaphragm spring. Okay, it's for the diaphragm.
Deer motor that I'm fighting with on that seating.
Oh, it's a Rotax engine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's rebuilding this Sea-Doo.
Oh, well, yeah, it's rotary valve.
It's not a Rotax engine.
Yeah, it's rotary valve Rotax. And,
rotary valve 2-stroke.
Yeah, but I don't know what spring to put in the carb. Like, do you guys ever get that with other small engines where it comes with multiple springs?
Sometimes.
Yeah. Because if you want, sometimes you want to run rich in the winter versus lean, whatever. So you want the diaphragm to have a little more versus less give, so it doesn't flood out. It's usually by experimentation, though.
Oh, okay. Boy, that's a lot of tearing apart for experimentation, though.
Well, depending, you could
think about the knowledge you'll get once you've done it 3 times.
Yeah.
How about the one you took out, though? Can you compare it to the one you took out to see if it's the same number of coils and height and all that?
Yeah, it doesn't really match any of them, but yeah, I guess so. I got it not working. So, and I can't get enough RPM out of it is what the problem is. So I'm just wondering if that would affect me not getting RPM.
Sounds like it's too stiff of a spring, not getting enough fuel, to allow it to rev.
Yeah.
So you want a lighter spring to allow it to give it more fuel.
Right.
Yeah.
And that would do it, eh? Like that could restrict fuel flow in a carburetor.
Oh yeah, because the pulses aren't enough to pull the diaphragm to pump fast enough.
Ah. Gotcha. Okay.
God, right, Steve.
Corey already knows I know nothing about Rotax engines or anything like that. It's just
I know that's why
you can't drop it off to Steve.
Don't bring it over here.
Take it over to Steve. Do a video on it.
Well, yeah, maybe. But
what model carburetor is it, Corey? Throw the model number sometime. It's not like an HSR or something, right?
Oh, if
you have the model number, we could look up the parts diagram and I could see what went in there, and I could look up the different spring numbers and all that.
Right. Like, I mean, we're right at sea level here. Like, we are on the beach, and and where this thing came from. I mean, it came from Washington State up in the mountains. So I don't even know what would work in there compared to what would work at sea level, or even if it makes a difference.
Well, up there, less oxygen, so you'd want less, less fuel because you don't have the oxygen to support it. So
the other thing is also what about carburetor tuning? We're talking about diaphragm tension off of a spring. It could be, if it's not been used for a little while, maybe the mixture screws have been mucked about with if it was non-running beforehand, and maybe it's not been tuned enough to give it enough pickup on the low side.
Right, and I was talking to Steve about this at another point, and he said at some point, even if they screwed in that high idle screw too far, they might have actually physically damaged the carburetor.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Screw. I don't know.
Yeah, you just got to just kiss it in there, just well seat it, just enough before you pack it out again. Yeah.
Corey, if you can find the model number, and I'll throw it on one of your brother's video streams in the comment. I'll see if I can look it up.
Yeah, sure. I'll throw it on the video screen. Yeah, cool. That'd be good.
Is it a new carb, Corey?
Eh?
That's the old carb you're talking about. You didn't buy a new one, right?
No,
the new rebuilt kit.
Different carb, but no change.
Tunings are big bucks.
Yeah.
We're Scottish. I'm not buying a new carb. I'll burn it.
Rather sit and try and rebuild one for 3.5 hours than just go out and buy one.
Let it float out in the water and shoot ball rockets at it until it lights up.
Hey, one of the people has a comment here, and I could answer that easily. He says, "Do any of you ever had a machine you couldn't fix or it defeated you?"
Yeah,
we've all had that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
we have to know when to say when and say, you know what, I'm done. And it happens all the time.
But the problem is when you're saying I'm done and you put the machine away into a store or a skip, you sat there at night time thinking, now, was there absolutely nothing else I can do to that machine and get it to run? And
you think about it for a year. Are you kidding? The one that got you, you're always thinking about it. It comes down to dollars and cents a lot with that too. I mean, sometimes you're working on something, you're already at 4 hours. You're not going to be able to fix it. You're not going to charge the guy because you were defeated. You just step the feet and say, look, either take it someplace else or we're done. That's it.
Okay, so I've got a ride before cycle that's beaten me. I've had it a year. It's still in my store now. I'm not giving up on it. I'll come back to it.
Because one day, 3 in the morning, you're going to have an epiphany and say, and you're going to run down. I have to feel all the time.
That is exactly right. That happens to me a lot. I'll wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and go, holy cow, I know what's wrong with that thing now. It just came to me.
Yeah. You know what kills me, though, is this is snow season now. So on Aaron's or whatever thrower you're working on, Aaron's has that 5/8 hex nut for the oil drain, okay, on the bottom of the Tecumseh engines. And sometimes I'll deliver an engine and guys, the snowstorm's coming. I'm like, did I tighten that? And it's like, and the guy's like 10 miles away. I'll drive all the way over to, hey, can I check this out for a second? Just to make sure it was tight, because I forgot. Did I tighten it?
Yeah.
There's one for you, Ken. I've got an old Craftsman Snowblower, 1985, with a 10 horse Tecumseh. I'm getting old, aren't we all? And I can't start it when it's really cold in Winnipeg. Any idea on what starter motor would fit that?
Absolutely. If you go to Amazon and just type in Tecumseh Snow King starter, there's only 2 or 3 models depending on the number of teeth on your flywheel. But for the most part, if you type in Tecumseh 10 horse electric start, you'll see the generic one that comes up. I don't know the number offhand. I can look it up, but there's one like 790080C or something like that. It's a standard starter that 90% of the Tecumsehs use. So if you do a search on Amazon for 10 horse Tecumseh Snow King starter, you'll see it. And they're about $80 right now for the whole kit.
Hey, you know what, Ken? I think he's actually talking about converting it to an electric start. I don't think there's a starter on it.
Well, you can convert the electric start as long as it has the ring gear flywheel. And a lot of the snow engines have the plug cover on the end. You take the Phillips screw off, and you can see if there's teeth on the flywheel. And Tecumseh put stickers on the engine that says equipped for electric start on the flywheel. I mean, on the shroud. So as long as it has a ring gear flywheel, absolutely about $80.
All right. Hey, Small Engine Nation was here. We missed him. Just stopping by
Oh, yeah,
and saying,
Phil.
hi.
How you doing,
Oh,
buddy?
Phil.
Phil, if you're still here, buddy, we weren't ignoring you. Thanks for stopping by, buds.
Yeah, it's got no starter on it, but he does see teeth. Thanks, guys.
As long as there's teeth, then you could adapt it to a standard Tecumseh. So just type in, even do a search for Tecumseh 10-horse Snow King electric start, and you'll see there's 4 or 5 different part numbers, A, B, and C, because of different variations. They're all the same. They'll work. Look it up, about $80.
I'm assuming it gets quite cold in Winnipeg then.
Oh, that they call it winter peg. They call it winter peg in Canada.
I tell you though, if you're keeping it outside and your oil gets a little thick, if you're got a couple years on you, it is tough pulling. You know.
You want to try cranking over 1930s Dennis when it's cold. I can assure you that's
There you
soon warm you up and all.
Yeah, but I don't think you'd be cranking that in the winter though.
No, hell no.
Hey, Corey.
Yeah.
Did that answer any of your?
Yeah, I just looked it up and I got the wrong spring in there because
Yeah.
I have the heavy spring in there and I need the light one. That answered it.
That'll give you more fuel. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
Try it out. Let us know. Let us know how you make out.
Absolutely. Yep.
I'll keep you informed. I'm sure I'll hear about it.
Now, Steve, is this going to be a weekly thing, Steve, or what?
For what?
For you
Corey?
live? No, for you live.
I'm banning him right now. He's never coming back in here ever again.
Well, he's not drinking, is he?
Oh, is that alcohol-free
No.
beverage?
That must run in the family. That must run in the family. Because
Yeah,
last night, your brother was on my stream, absolutely smashed. I ain't saying nothing.
We don't drink
We're going to
beer.
call it Steve's Brothers Saloon.
I'm not saying a word. I'm not
I'm just
saying
drinking
a
water.
word about it, Steve. Not a word, brother. I can keep quiet.
Corey's going to be a guest star on one of my videos as soon as this whole COVID crap is over with.
Yeah, I
And
hear you.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah, I know we can go downtown and get our hair cut, but we can't go for dinner at each other's house right now. So
Yeah.
To be fair, I can't go get a haircut, and if I could, there's no point, so I wouldn't bother.
You know, I'd fire your hairdresser, Mick. Went a little bit crazy that time.
Brother, I'm coming so far back now, I'm coming my ass. It's a thing like that.
All right.
Any funny stories? Russell Petrie says, I got a quick funny story. A guy brings me a machine, says he's been trying to get it to run, can't get it to run, wants to know if I could fix it. I said, sure, I could fix it. It was the one I just brought to the dump 12 minutes earlier. Swore to me he had it for 5 years, this and that. And I'm like, then why is my name on it? And I brought it to the dump like 12 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I said, did you get this at the dump? No. It was my grandfather's. It was his father's. Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
When I showed him my name, he nearly pooped, you know?
It's nothing like getting caught in a bold-faced lie.
I mean, I gave him 3 chances. I go, you sure you didn't get this at the Nope. I said, you sure? Nope, it's my dad's. You're positive, not my grandfather. Okay.
I remember last year, one of my funny stories, it's very simple, and it happens quite a lot. I had a professional lawn guy turned up in a big van, all sign written, with a big trailer, ride on mowers, strimmers, weed. He had everything. He rocked up with a Honda 553 Pro mower, 21-inch cut. He turned up with that and he said, it's no good. Looking to trade it in for a smaller machine. It doesn't run. I've tried everything, it won't start. Okay. So I didn't even bother trying to start it. The engine was free. Put it on one side. I did a straight swap. I had that on there. Off he went. He was gone 2.5. Steve, what are you doing?
Nothing.
You liar. He wasn't gone no more than 2 minutes. I got the lawnmower. I looked around it. It wouldn't start. I turned the fuel tap on. It started first pull.
Mick, I drove 45 minutes to a Sikorsky engineer's house. Now, an engineer that designs helicopters where I work, okay? Drove 45 minutes to his house, telling me the thing wouldn't start. He tried everything. Tipped the thing over. I take off the bowl nut. Perfectly clean. And the Tecumseh looked great. This and that. I turn it back over. I'm hitting the starter. I'm like, man, what the hell's wrong with this thing? Open up the gas tank, bone dry. And I said, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it happens.
Oh.
Yeah,
Stevie been told off.
I know, but I agree with him.
Yeah,
What I said at the beginning. That's no, it's fun that we have some fun like this, but I really want to keep this and answer some questions. And we are doing a great job. How many questions have we answered since we've been on for an hour and 34 minutes?
4 questions.
Yeah, 40 questions maybe.
Yeah,
All right,
Guys asking how much we charge per hour. I'm not gonna say how much, but I'm less than half of what the dealer charges. How's
Yeah,
that?
me too.
yes.
I'm cheaper than Steve.
Hey, I offer value added, meaning they can call me on a Sunday afternoon when they're having a barbecue and say my lawnmower's not working. You're not going to the dealer.
Mhm. I find that somebody asked that question, Dandy. It depends. I'm in Canada. Mick is in the UK. Ken, where you're in the United States?
I'm Connecticut on the East Coast.
There you go. So you ask that question. We all live in completely different parts of the earth. It doesn't like I heard that somewhere in the United States, somebody said that the average wage for a small engine mechanic is $14 an hour.
I'd say probably
like
20.
brutal, right?
I'd say probably 20, maybe a little more, depending on the experience. You know what I mean? Because if he's just a mechanic, that's one thing. If he's a master technician and does parts and everything, that's value added. You're going to give him more money.
There's a question for you from Dean. He says, how often should I sharpen a cylinder reel mower?
Oh, I don't sharpen them.
That's you, Mick. That's not me.
When it needs doing. No.
Yeah, but what does it do to the grass if it's dull?
So you can generally tell by your. It's exactly the same with a chainsaw. When your chainsaw is cutting fine, nice chunky chips going onto the ground, as the chainsaw chain starts to dull off, you get more and more finer and finer as it goes to dust. With a reel mower, it's backwards. Nice fine grafts going into the box as a blade starts to deteriorate of a cylinder. You get more chunky lumps coming out. So the best thing to do then is to stop. And if you can, take the side cover off of your machine, disconnect your cylinder chain and put a drill, but rotate the cylinder backwards, not forwards. And with some grinding paste, 2 levels of grinding paste, you get your thin and your coarse. Put your coarse one on first and then just backlap the blade first. By backlapping will improve the bed knife and the cylinder rather than having to have the cylinder completely reground. So always try and backlap before you have it sharpened.
The only thing I want to add to that, Mick, is you had talked about the chainsaws, though. One caveat that people don't realize about chainsaws, you have something on a chainsaw chain called a raker. People don't know what rakers are. People don't understand rakers. And you can have the sharpest chain in the world, but if the raker is set so there's no depth, you're making dust or you're burning wood. So look up rakers, people. Look at what they are and how to file them.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, backlapping. That's it, Michael. Exactly that. Bit of backlapping.
Or you can just watch my chainsaw sharpening video.
There you go. Absolutely.
Was that a little tiny bit of advertising there going on somewhere? Hang on.
Like, hey, it's my show. I can plug it if
It's stream.
Hey, one more time. That's Terrell's. Terrell, wait, we're going to see Terrell on Saturday, aren't we? That's going to be fun.
We are, bro. We are.
I just saw another question on here, but the chat's moving so fast I can't find it again.
Can I pressure wash my chainsaw?
Yeah, but don't stick the hose right in the muffler.
Yeah.
Or don't go near the seals. I mean, you don't want to inject water into it.
Yeah.
Or if you get the electronic box wet. That's not good.
If you do that, I know lots of rental companies pressure wash everything, chainsaws, anything 2-stroke too. If you do pressure wash, even a lawnmower, pressure wash it off, start it. After you're done washing it, start it and let it run and let that air blow all that water out and do that. Don't just wash it off and stick it in the garage.
Yeah. I had a customer call me up with a John Deere X300 that he washed off with the hose and it wouldn't start. And then when he hit the key, the PTO would shut the engine off. It was all the moisture got into the safety switches. And then once he dried it all out overnight in the garage, perfect.
I'll take care of it.
All right. I don't have that much longer left, you guys. I got 1 hour and 38 minutes that we've been going.
I was just smooching the wife. She's off to bed.
Oh, here we go. This is the one I was looking for. There's a question right there. Sparky fly out my ass. Wow, there's a name for you. What to do to revive a chainsaw that's been sitting for 12 years? I'll tell you this, every single rubber part on that chainsaw is toast. Especially anything that touches fuel.
Yep.
right from your fuel filter to your fuel lines to your carburetor, rubber parts in your carburetor. Anything like that is destroyed. Guaranteed, it's destroyed. It needs to be replaced. Even what Ken was talking about earlier, your crankshaft seals. It's been sitting there for 12 years. Your crankshaft seals are probably going to be dried out, hard and crispy. You got a lot of work to do on that thing. And you say Craftsman? Is that worth it? Is that worth? You certainly won't want to pay a small engine mechanic to rebuild that for you, Sparks.
No, coming out of his ass.
Yeah,
that's a good name.
Well, I see 10 of those a week.
Yeah, where you just say no. You just say no. It's
they argue with you though. They're like, "What's the matter? Don't you want to fix it?" And I'm like, "Dude, let me show you something." I pull the muffler, I show them a score, or I pull out the fuel filter and the line comes out in pieces. I was like, "Dude, here you go."
You know what the worst part about that is? They say, "Well, it just ran a week ago."
Yeah.
They show me. I say, "Show me." Yeah, it was especially when the fuel smells like varnish, right?
That's right. Just ran a week ago. Here's one. Why is this happening? Why is this happening, boys? Axel. Why is steel changing those carb adjustment screws and making it hard to adjust them? EPA. It's the EPA.
Well, remember, they own Zama now. So
supposed to be allowed to. Every single brand new unit, two-stroke unit that you buy from the dealership is running as lean as it possibly can run so they can get by with the new rules and regulations.
Yeah, it's all money.
So you can, if you have the right tool, the right adjusting tool, you take your brand new weed eater or your brand new chainsaw and take it right home and readjust the carburetor and it'll run way better. Yeah, now it's not EPA regulations anymore, but they run like crap right out off the shelf.
Well, Steve, how about the mix? I tell people too, if you're only running a small strimmer or trimmer or whatever, use the premix because you're not going to use a lot of it. It'll be a consistent mix. Your mixture screws will be the same. If they go and try a different mix, you may have to change the screws.
Yeah. Well, that is true. And you change your altitude too. A lot of people don't know that. Change your altitude. Now you're cutting up in the mountain somewhere where you're used to cutting down at sea level. Your unit's going to run, your chainsaw is not going to run the same at all. You have to adjust the carburetor to compensate for altitude. That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
Someone asked if they could run 40-1 mix in a 50-1 saw. Absolutely. I only run 40-1.
Boy, we get that question a lot, don't we?
Yeah.
We just answered that twice already today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Heck with the EPA, exactly. Well, I understand, the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, it's there for a reason. They're trying to help, right? They're trying to do a good thing, but they really, really piss a lot of people off. Okay. Night, Henry. See you later,
Hey,
bud.
I'm glad I'm not in California. I would be able to.
Oh.
Yeah, how to fix a snowblower, move to San Diego. You won't need it.
Yeah. Steve, do you have a chainsaw collection?
No.
You need one.
Do you have a chainsaw fetish? I think that's the other part of the question.
No.
Chainsaws.
I prefer curling up with my weed eater in bed. Not chainsaws though. They're too sharp. Chainsaws are too sharp.
You got a few chainsaws kicking around your studio there, buddy.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there's some old one. Yeah, there's one over. Yeah, you can see that.
Don't you just hide it? Don't you just hide it when you
the value of can't
What's this one? Steve. Oh, here's Steve Bernesky again. Didn't he ask us a question already?
170.
Steel MS 170. Run for 10 minutes. Had to let it sit for 2 hours before it will run again. If I run it hard for 10 minutes, it could be flooding. It could, 10 minutes. So when it's running for 10 minutes, does it automatically shut off on you, Steve? Or is it when you shut it off, then you can't start it for 2 hours? Or does it actually quit on you after 10 minutes. That's what I need to know.
Could be a multitude of problems there.
Somebody's mic keeps going off and on. I'm not sure who it is. Is it me?
No. Is it me?
I don't have a mic.
I don't know.
I'm talking into my
If you go down the bottom, Steve, just go down the bottom, Steve, where we are in the basement, and just mute one at a time. You better hear it go off. On. Turn one off. Turn one on. Someone's got YouTube in the background.
Sounds good now. I just muted Corey.
Is it Corey?
No, it's still going. Let's go. Ken.
Try doing Ken. So it disappears.
Yeah, it is Corey. Corey and Nat. Your microphone is stuck on or something.
Oh, mute us then.
Just mute us.
Try turning your volume down on touch on your laptop. Turn it down a smidge. It might be picking up through your mic.
Well, Corey, hey, I did mute you just for a second. If you want to say something, just go like this. Catch my attention. Hey, let me talk. We're just about done here anyways, guys. An hour and 45 minutes. I got to take off because I'm getting super thirsty.
Hey?
Oh, no, it's still going. It's not Corey and Nat. There's something else. Oh, you guys muted yourselves. Just so
I'm back.
Yeah. Okay.
It could be a bit of lag, Steve. It has been playing up all weekend.
Maybe I'm hearing things.
Maybe you're hearing things.
Has the MS230 demo saw and a
little
saw
static.
quite some time. Yeah. Oh, the one that befuddled me. Yes, that was an old John Deere saw made by Echo. It was the oiling system. Confused me. Confused many. 5 mechanics tried to fix that old John Deere Echo saw that wouldn't oil. Finally, I got thrown in the garbage and I grabbed it. Said, yoink, thank you very much. Right in the back of my truck. My lorry. Right in the back of my lorry, eh? Well, I think we got to call her quits today, guys.
Well, if we don't, we'll be here all night. And by the time we get to the morning, you'll be drunk and I'll be picking you up off the floor.
So I am actually super happy. I am super happy with how this live turned out because we answered a ton of questions between us. I think we're going to have some pretty happy people out there. Hopefully we get some thumbs ups here. And yeah. Hey, guys, do not forget Mix Mowers. Here, let me get rid of this. There we go. Sir Mix Mowers right there. His YouTube channel is called Mix Mowers. Ken Small Engine, that's his YouTube channel also. Check those out when you get a chance. And Mick, take it away. The bench is yours. I want you to promote our what we're doing on Saturday.
So next Saturday night, which would be 7 o'clock UK time, figure it out for your own time zones. It's now 10 to 10 here at night in the UK. I'm running a live stream. We're going to have Steve Small Engines, Terra Fixes All, Double Wide 6, Henry from Mowers and Blowers. We're going to have Zippo Varga, Bruce Pender, and Retro Restore, all on the same panel, dressed up in Christmas clothes, all drinking, answering questions and having a good old time. So, yeah, 7 p.m. UK time. Check out my channel. There's going to be 7 or 8 of the top YouTube small engine guys in the world, not including myself, up on the live stream. Don't miss it.
Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Ah! All right. Let's call it quits for today. Anything else you want to say? We're done. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Like I said, mixed stream, 7 p.m., which would be 2 p.m. Eastern time and 11 a.m. Western time.
Okay.
You're very glitchy, Ken. I could barely hear any of that. It sounded like you was inside a tin or something.
All right. Well, I'm going to say goodbye. Hang around, boys, if you want, after we end the live.